everyone, I'm G-Man, that there's G-Money, and welcome to the February 8th Father, Son, and Holy Sport weekly podcast. The stage is set for Super Bowl 56. The Rams made it back. They were here a few years ago. The Bengals made it through the division and wreaked havoc on the AFC, and they're the team left standing in the AFC to face the favored Rams. We know how hard it is to get back to the playoffs, so which one of these teams will take advantage of the moment and get that coveted Super Bowl ring? Let's get ready, y'all. Team Money, I know you're going there live and in person, man. You excited?
Oh, man. Can't wait. This is amazing. Bengals, man. This is just going to be such a fun Super Bowl. My Cincinnati team is there. I'll be in LA, so I'll be feeling the atmosphere down there. I'm going to go to some pre-parties. You know, I'm going to hit the beach. You can't not hit the beach. I mean, it's just going to be a great weekend. And let us all congratulate G-Man. Happy early birthday, G.
Oh, thank you. Hey, do us all a favor. Press that like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. We appreciate your support. Hey, I'm G-Man, and I got Team Money here with me for the NFL Rundown, bringing you energy with the February 8th edition. It's a special segment of the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network, and brought to you by our friends at Woundwise IQ. Okay, Team Money, let's go into the NFL Rundown. Hey, who do you trust more this weekend, Stafford or Burrow?
I mean, I think it's got to be Burrow, right? He's had the second best passer rating throughout the entire NFL this year. Stafford's been really solid, but he tends to throw picks, in the red zone a lot. I'm not a big red zone pick guy. That's not a thing. He did it last week or 2 weeks ago. He always seems to have untimely picks. Burrow seems like he can rally from that. I like Stafford. This is a tight one because Stafford has proven he's proven now that Detroit, he could do more than just put up numbers. But Burrow's just got that moxie, that swag that if he gets down, I trust him. Whereas Stafford, he's looked pedestrian in games throughout this year. He's not been needed a lot because the run game is so strong, and Burrow's had to carry that weight. And because of that, I trust him more.
Yeah. I see why you're saying that, and I kind of agree with you there. But, I think the way to look at this is look at this picture behind me, man. It's really McVay's team.
That's fair.
It's not Stafford's team. Stafford doesn't have to put this team on his back, and I think he was trying to do that before. Now he's kind of settled back, playing his role. He's got great skill. He can lead this team, but just be that role player. Let McVay bring this thing home, man. McVay knows what he's doing. Burrow, on the other hand, he can put that team on his back.
Exactly.
And he can bring it home. And he's going to be hard to beat in this game. But I think if Stafford, keeps cool and plays his role, he won't make those mistakes you're talking about.
No, I agree. If he doesn't make a mistake, it's great. But that I trust that he is going to. That's the whole point, is I trust that Burrow's more likely to come back from a mistake and Stafford's more likely to make a mistake. And I think Randy has got a problem with McVay anyways. We'll talk about that later in the podcast. He says he's got some words for him. So I don't know how much McVay, is trustworthy either. But I'm not a big Zach Taylor guy. So it's really a wash to me. It's kind of crazy. I don't know who to trust more. But let me ask you this. Burrow can only do so much, because this Bengals O-line has not been great. They let 9 sacks versus the Titans, the most ever in a playoff game and the most ever allowed in a win. That's because of Joey B. Yeah. Do they have any chance of slowing down this vaunted Rams D-line with Defensive Player of the Year in Von Miller, Defensive Player of the Year in Aaron Donald, currently probably the best defensive player in the NFL, and Floyd as well, Leonard Floyd coming off the edge, just a Pro Bowler himself. What do you think? Any chance of slowing them down?
No, they're not going to slow them down. The Rams defense is going to be the best D-line that the Bengals have faced in the playoffs. They're going to be all over Burrow. The question is, will that matter? Can they get him out? Can they roll him out? Move the pocket? We know that he can take sacks, get back up again. and still deliver. So, can he do that again? Is the wick going to blow out for Burrow this time? Will they smother him? But they're going to be all over him. Can he still pick it up and do it like he's been doing it? That's the biggest question. Hey, the other thing he has to watch out for is Jalen Ramsey. It's not just that D line. Jalen Ramsey is an interception machine, man. So if he tries to hurry too much or not paying attention to the coverages, Jalen Ramsey could pick him.
No, I totally agree with you there that Jalen Ramsey is legit, right? And that D line, because Jalen Ramsey's so good, that line is going to be able to get to Burrow. But the other defenders outside of Jalen Ramsey, Jalen's 5th in the NFL, according to PPF. But the rest of those defenders, those cornerbacks, 73rd, 130th, 151. The rest of his receivers are going to be open. They just got to protect him enough to get him time. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are good enough. But I like to compare him to the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs had Frank Clark off the edge, Melvin Ingram off the edge, just like Von Miller and Floyd. And then they had Chris Jones, one of the best in the league, right up the center. And they held him pretty solid in the second half from getting pressure on Burrow. So I'm just saying, I know it's not the same, but those are 3 solid D linemen that the Bengals held up against in the second half to let Burrow come back. So if they can do it versus them, just a little bit longer, hold on.
You can't just, recreate your offensive line in a couple weeks, so that offensive line is what they got. They're going to have to do the best they can and hope that Burrow can carry them above it. Whatever quarterback wins this game is going to be really propped up, man. The quarterback that wins, if Burrow wins this game, man, it's going to be unbelievable what people will say about him. But if Stafford wins this game, man, what do you think? If Stafford wins, does he make the Hall of Fame with a win?
Oh, man, this is really difficult. I'm going to put this back on you real quick. Quick answer off the top of your head. Is Drew Brees a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Because he has 0 MVPs and he has 1 Super Bowl with no other Super Bowl appearances.
That's
right?
my point.
Now, a lot of people are saying Stafford isn't. Right now, he's top 12. He's 11th in completions. He's 12th in passing yards. He's 4th in passing yards per game. He's 12th in touchdowns. And he's 7th all time in game-winning drives. So this guy's top 12 in every statistical category for a quarterback. And he did it in Detroit.
So what are you saying? Is he in or is he out?
I think he's in because he also has under his belt the 2 best receivers seasons ever in Calvin Johnson and Cooper Kupp. 2 best statistical seasons. And now he proves that in Detroit, he was good enough, but just couldn't. They weren't good enough. And he wins a Super Bowl first year out of Detroit. I think a lot of people will say, well, if he had been with the Rams, he would have been an all-timer. If he had been with, anyone else, he would have had another Super Bowl. I think they'll give him the benefit of the doubt, right? And I think he'll end his career pretty damn high on completions, pass yards, all of that. He's going to climb that ladder. He's still relatively young. Right. So I think
compared to Rodgers or Brady or,
Exactly. So I think this 1 Super Bowl, yes, does get him in purely because if a guy like Brees can get in with 1 Super Bowl and no MVPs and a lot of completions, then Stafford should be able to after a few more years in the NFL.
And I agree with you. There's a lot of people that I respect that are analysts like we are that think that he does not get in with a win, but I think he does too. I think he gets in. Stats do matter when you're voting for that Hall of Fame. People are looking at the stats. He's thrown for 50,000 yards. There's only 8 other quarterbacks in NFL history that's thrown for 50,000 yards and had 1 Super Bowl win. 8 of them.
Yeah.
And 7 of them are locks for the Hall of Fame. The only one that's not is Eli Manning. But you look at who he's carrying himself with, his stats are very close to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Stafford's younger than Rodgers. So like you said, I think he can catch some of these guys. Really, here's the better question that might be more challenging for us for Stafford. Does he have the shot at the Hall of Fame if he does not win?
No.
What do you think?
No.
Because he could reach 70,000 yards.
No, it's good. No, you got to win an MVP to make the Hall of Fame without a Super Bowl, unfortunately, or make multiple Super Bowl appearances or set the all-time passing yards, which he might because he throws for a lot. But I just think without an MVP, you can't make it without a Super Bowl. You basically have to be able to tell the story of the NFL with that person. If you can tell the story of the NFL without that guy, it's not really a Hall of Fame worthy guy. So he wins this. He's in. People give him the benefit of the doubt with those Detroit years too. I think there's a lot more narrative to his Hall of Fame career than most people.
It just shows you the pressure that he is under. There's a lot on the line for Stafford here, because if he does win, we both think that he's in. If he doesn't win, we both think he's kind of on that bubble, kind of like Phillip Rivers or Matt Ryan. These guys that can throw, but never really got it done. But Stafford's got
Matt Ryan's got an MVP. Matt Ryan's got an MVP. If he had won a Super Bowl, who knows? So I'm just saying, Stafford doesn't even have an MVP. But let's move to the other quarterback here, or without the other quarterback. I think we both know that Burrow could be an advantage. We don't know who's better, Stafford or Burrow. But other than Burrow, do my Cincinnati Bengals have an advantage at any position or matchup in this game? Or is Joe Cool Kids babyface killer put the team on his back, Burrow, the only thing that's going to save us to win?
I think there is an advantage in this game, and I don't think anybody's talking about it.
Okay,
I've listened to them all.
All right,
nobody's talking about what I'm going to talk about.
All right,
and that's the Cincinnati receiving core.
Hey,
I think they got an edge out there. I think they can get open. Chase put up the most impressive rookie season at his position. The guy's unbelievable. Everybody agrees with that. He can catch it downfield, but he'll also be coming out of the slot. He's going to be catching short throws also. But also T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Uzomah. Uzomah's going to play at tight end. I think the receiving core is going to get open for the Bengals and give Burrow some quick throws.
G-Man, I totally agree with you. The Bengals are matchup-wise screwed at every position, and just who has the better receiving core, or who has the better offensive line, or who has the better defensive line. Every position, the Rams have a better player other than the receiving core. I totally agree with you here that
I'm looking at the receiving core versus the defense. I'm not saying Cincinnati's receiving core is better than LA's receiving core.
I know. I'm saying just in general on matchups
against those defense.
Yeah, matchups or better versus better. I agree with you. The matchup of the cornerbacks for the Rams versus the receiving core. T. Higgins is legit. Tyler Boyd is legit. They've had 1,000-yard seasons now, and T. Higgins had more receptions and yards versus the Chiefs.
Don't count out Uzomah. He likes to throw Uzomah over the middle.
I know.
Middle's going to be open.
Touchdowns. I totally agree with you here. I rattled it off a few minutes ago. Other than Jalen Ramsey, their corners ranked 73rd, 130th, 151st, and 152nd, and 154th in the NFL in coverage. Jalen Ramsey's great, but good luck guarding the rest of our receivers. Totally agree with you there, G.
Could it be a shootout? Hey, what do you think about Zach Taylor? You think he's a good coach, great coach? Where do you kind of put him right now?
Gosh, I mean, we've kind of been talking about this all year, haven't we? Like, I love Zach Taylor for taking this team to the Super Bowl. But man, this is Joe Burrow. Like, I don't give Zach Taylor much credit. I haven't seen him make many great adjustments. I haven't seen him make many great calls at the end of games. This offensive line is horrible. I just think Joe Burrow has elevated this group. They've done a lot. Drafting receivers has been great, but those guys were there before Zach Taylor. And Jamar Chase, that's not Zach Taylor. That's Joe Burrow saying draft Jamar Chase, right? I just think, look, it's great, and it's a great story, and Joe Burrow is legit. He's changed that culture, and Zach Taylor's probably a decent coach, but I just don't think he's a great one. Like,
oh, man, I disagree with that.
I just don't see it.
You don't get this far and have this kind of motivation without being a great leader, any kind of organization. Are those, the people in your organization are going to excel because the leader provided an opportunity for them to excel, develop them, gave them motivation, put together a good plan. It's the same thing here. He's bringing this out of these guys. Look how fired up they are. There's no dissension on this team. They are psyched up. They're playing as a team. The veterans and the rookies, they're all getting along. They got a great offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. He's got his staff together. I think he's got a great team here, man.
Let me ask you this. Is Mike McCarthy a good coach? or a great coach. It's
Mike McCarthy. I mean, I think Mike McCarthy was blessed with some great quarterbacks.
I'm just saying he won a Super Bowl. He had some good teams. Great quarterbacks, all-time greats can carry teams. Tom Brady's carried some very bad teams to the Super Bowl. Now he had good coaching, but he's carried terrible teams before. So a lot of these bad Andrew Luck's carried horrible teams and okay coaches to the playoffs. A lot of these great all-timers, like Joe Burrow seems to be on pace to be, can carry teams. And I just think Zach Taylor is really along for the ride here. Like you saw him before.
Well,
Burrow
if he wins the Super Bowl, I got to give him a lot of respect, man. One thing I think he has to watch out for is don't try to push that run so hard, man.
I agree.
The guy tried to push the running game so much that he goes 3 and out, right?
Yep.
Don't start off the game running it, 3 times.
Totally.
Come on, man.
Totally agree with you, man. We'll see what happens, though. He's probably, if he wins, well, now he's win or not, he's got like 4 more years at least. Now, let me ask you this. Out of these two teams, the Rams and the Bengals, which team do you think is most likely to make the Super Bowl next year?
Well, Burrow and Cincinnati are on the upswing. They're going to be a power and a force to be reckoned with, but it's going to be tough for them to get back. I don't know if they're going to get through Kansas City and Buffalo again. Those are games they barely won, and it's going to be tough for them to get out of that group. The Rams, on the other hand, are built for this. They put this team together. They can win multiple years in a row. And 2 things happened in the NFC. We had that very tight NFC with those top 4 or 5 teams all year. Well, guess what? Brady's out at Tampa. Aaron Rodgers probably out of Green Bay. That opens up the hole, man, for the Rams to go running through. The Rams coming in as a 4 seed this year, but they don't have to worry about Tampa or Green Bay next year. I think it's an easier road, more likely road for the Rams next year.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, unfortunately. I mean, even in our own division, Lamar was hurt, Baker was hurt, and Pittsburgh didn't have a decent quarterback and was still really good. If all 3 of those teams get healthy, that's going to be hard to even get out of that division. Right?
Yeah.
Then we have to go up against Herbert. Then we have to go up against Mahomes. Then you have to go up against Josh Allen.
And we haven't talked about Herbert. Yeah.
Like all of these quarterbacks are legit in the AFC right now. And like you said, Brady left the NFC. Who knows what's going on with Rodgers? That is wide open, and that team is ready-made. You are so right. Stafford has only been a Ram for a year. Just imagine he gets another one under his belt. I totally agree with you. Unfortunately, the Rams are most likely, but hey, Joe Burrow's definitely getting back to a Super Bowl. That guy ain't letting winning getting away from him.
Hey, we hope you're loving the NFL Rundown. It's a special segment brought to you by the Father, Son, and Holy Sport Podcast Network. If you're interested in being a guest on our NFL Rundown, reach out to us. The show is sponsored by Woundwise IQ. Woundwise IQ is a patented mobile analytics software app that automatically measures and analyzes chronic wounds. It's used by leading physicians and nurses caring for people with wounds to document their healing progress. Just download the app from the App Store. You're ready to go. Learn more at woundwiseiq.com. All right. Hey, if you love the show like we love you, press that like and subscribe and look for some of our shows and segments where you play your podcast. Look for us at Father, Son, and Holy Sport, or check out our new website, Father, Son, and Holy Sport.com. T-Money, have fun going to that Super Bowl, baby.
All right. Go Bengals, baby. Peace.